joint discomfort in advanced age may not simply be a natural part of aging. Some research suggests certain foods may help reduce joint inflammation and support cartilage health. Simple changes in your kitchen might contribute to your mobility. As we age, many of us come to accept joint stiffness, occasional pain, and reduced mobility as inevitable companions of our later years. We may hear phrases like, "That's just part of getting older," or "Everyone gets arthritis eventually," from well-meaning healthcare providers and friends alike. While age-related changes in joints do occur, the degree of discomfort and limitation many experience may not be entirely unavoidable. Emerging research in nutritional science suggests that our daily food choices might play a more significant role in joint health than previously understood. The foods we consume regularly appear to influence the underlying inflammatory processes that contribute to joint discomfort, as well as potentially supporting the body's natural ability to maintain and repair cartilage tissue. This connection between nutrition and joint health offers a promising complementary approach for those seeking to maintain mobility and comfort as they age. While no food can be considered a miracle cure for joint problems, thoughtful dietary choices may help create an internal environment that better supports joint function and comfort. I'm Dr. Rachel Thompson, and for over 25 years, I've specialized in nutritional approaches to healthy aging. I've observed how dietary patterns appear to influence many aspects of the aging process, including joint health and mobility. Today, I'll share some insights about foods that research suggests might support joint health, and practical ways to incorporate them into your daily meals. Before we explore these joint-supporting foods, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Each week, we share evidence-based natural approaches for health challenges that commonly affect older adults. And if you're experiencing joint discomfort or stiffness, type mobility in the comments below. I read every comment and appreciate understanding your specific situation. Let's begin by understanding why joint health often becomes more challenging with age. Our joints, the connections between bones that allow movement, are complex structures containing cartilage, synovial fluid, ligaments, and tendons. With age, several changes may occur. Cartilage can gradually thin, synovial fluid may decrease, and low-grade inflammation often becomes more common. These changes don't happen uniformly for everyone, however. Factors like genetics, past injuries, activity level, and nutrition appear to influence how our joints age. This suggests there may be opportunities to support joint health through thoughtful lifestyle choices, including what we eat. The connection between nutrition and joint health centers largely around inflammation. While acute inflammation is a normal healing response, chronic low-grade inflammation appears to contribute to joint deterioration over time. Certain dietary patterns and specific foods seem to either promote or help moderate this inflammatory process. Research suggests that the Mediterranean and Asian dietary patterns, which emphasize vegetables, fruits, fish, whole grains, and plant proteins, may be associated with lower levels of inflammatory markers in the body. Conversely, the typical Western diet, rich in processed foods, refined carbohydrates, and certain fats, has been linked to higher levels of inflammatory markers in some studies. Let's explore some specific foods that research suggests might support joint health, beginning with fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and trout. These fish contain omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA, which some studies suggest may help modulate inflammatory processes in the body. A systematic review published in the journal Nutrients found that omega-3 supplementation appeared to reduce joint pain intensity and morning stiffness in some participants with rheumatoid arthritis. While this doesn't necessarily mean the same benefits would apply to age-related joint issues, it suggests omega-3s may have properties that could support joint comfort. Margaret, a 72-year-old who consulted with me about her increasing knee discomfort, began incorporating fatty fish into her meals twice weekly. After about 2 months, I noticed I wasn't experiencing as much morning stiffness, she reported. The change wasn't dramatic, but it was certainly noticeable. My joints seemed to warm up more quickly in the mornings. If you're not a fan of fish, other sources of omega-3s include walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds, though the form of omega-3s they contain, ALA, isn't converted to EPA and DHA very efficiently in the body. For those who don't consume fish, An algae-based omega-3 supplement might be worth discussing with a healthcare provider. Another food category that may support joint health is colorful berries, blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, and cherries. These fruits contain compounds called anthocyanins, which give them their vibrant colors and appear to have antioxidant properties. Research from the Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation suggests that anthocyanins may help reduce certain inflammatory markers. A study published in the journal Nutrients found that women who consumed more than 2 servings of strawberries per week were less likely to have elevated inflammatory markers compared to those who rarely consumed them. Tart cherries, in particular, have received attention for their potential joint-supporting properties. Some small studies suggest that tart cherry juice might help reduce exercise-induced muscle pain and inflammation. While more research is needed to understand their effects on age-related joint issues specifically, including a variety of berries in your diet aligns with overall healthy eating patterns. Robert, an 81-year-old with long-standing hip discomfort, began drinking a small glass of tart cherry juice daily after reading about its potential benefits. "I can't say it's eliminated my discomfort," he told me, "but I do feel like the stiffness isn't quite as severe, especially after I've been sitting for a while." Moving on to another promising food category: cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and cauliflower. These vegetables contain compounds called glucosinolates, which the body converts to sulforaphane, a compound that some preliminary research suggests might help protect against cartilage damage. A laboratory study published in Arthritis and Rheumatology found that sulforaphane appeared to block the enzymes that lead to joint destruction in certain types of arthritis. While this was not a human clinical trial, it suggests interesting potential mechanisms by which cruciferous vegetables might support joint health. These vegetables also provide vitamin K, which plays a role in bone health and might indirectly support the joints. Additionally, their fiber content may help promote a healthy gut microbiome, which some emerging research suggests could influence systemic inflammation. Several studies have begun exploring the connection between gut health and joint comfort. The gut microbiome, the complex community of microorganisms living in our digestive tract, appears to play an important role in regulating inflammation throughout the body. Some preliminary research suggests that imbalances in gut bacteria might potentially contribute to increased inflammatory markers. Foods rich in fiber like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes appear to support a diverse and balanced gut microbiome. Additionally, fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi contain beneficial bacteria that may contribute to gut health. While research specifically linking these foods to joint health is still emerging, the connection between gut health and systemic inflammation suggests this may be an area worth attention. Patricia, a 76-year-old with knee discomfort, began incorporating more fiber-rich foods and small amounts of fermented foods into her diet. "I can't say for certain that these changes directly affected my joints," she shared, "but I have noticed improvements in both my digestion and my overall comfort level. The changes have been gradual but meaningful." Turmeric, a bright yellow spice commonly used in Indian and Southeast Asian cooking, contains a compound called curcumin that has been studied for its potential anti-inflammatory properties. Some research suggests that curcumin may help reduce inflammatory markers and possibly provide relief from joint discomfort for some individuals. A review published in the Journal of Medicinal Food analyzed multiple studies and suggested that curcumin supplementation appeared to reduce joint pain and improve physical function in some people with joint issues. It's worth noting that curcumin is not easily absorbed by the body when consumed in the small amounts typically used in cooking. Elizabeth, a 68-year-old with finger joint stiffness, began incorporating turmeric into her cooking and drinking occasional turmeric tea. "I've noticed my morning stiffness isn't quite as pronounced," she shared after several months. "It's not a dramatic change, but every little bit helps when it comes to being able to button my shirts more easily in the morning." If you're interested in exploring turmeric's potential benefits, consider combining it with black pepper in recipes, as the piperine in black pepper appears to enhance curcumin absorption. Turmeric can be added to smoothies, soups, rice dishes, or made into a warm beverage with a little honey and ginger. Ginger, another aromatic root with a long history in traditional medicine systems, contains compounds that some research suggests may have anti-inflammatory properties. Several small studies have explored ginger's potential effects on joint comfort, with some suggesting it might help reduce certain inflammatory markers and potentially provide relief from discomfort for some individuals. A study published in the journal Arthritis compared the effects of ginger extract to placebo in people with knee discomfort. The researchers found that those receiving ginger reported greater reductions in discomfort during standing. While more research is needed to understand ginger's effects more fully, incorporating this flavorful root into your cooking might be a tasty way to potentially support joint health. Ginger can be used fresh, dried, or powdered in a variety of dishes. It adds wonderful flavor to stir-fries, soups, and baked goods. You might also consider brewing ginger tea by steeping slices of fresh ginger in hot water, perhaps with a touch of honey and lemon for additional flavor. Extra virgin olive oil, a cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet, contains a compound called oleocanthal, which some research suggests may have properties somewhat similar to non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. While the effect is much milder, regular consumption might potentially offer cumulative benefits. A study published in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences found that oleocanthal appeared to have anti-inflammatory and joint protective properties in laboratory studies. Again, while laboratory findings don't necessarily translate directly to benefits in humans, they suggest interesting mechanisms that warrant further investigation. When choosing olive oil, look for extra virgin varieties that are stored in dark bottles and used within a reasonable timeframe after opening. The beneficial compounds in olive oil can degrade with exposure to light, heat, and air. Using olive oil as a primary cooking oil and in salad dressings might be a simple way to incorporate it into your daily meals. Nuts and seeds represent another food category that may support joint health through their nutrient profiles. Walnuts, almonds, flax seeds, and chia seeds contain a mix of omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin E, and various minerals that might help moderate inflammatory processes. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that participants who consumed a diet enriched with walnuts showed reduced levels of certain inflammatory markers compared to those on a control diet. While this study wasn't specifically focused on joint health, it suggests potential mechanisms by which nuts might support overall inflammatory balance. Nuts and seeds make convenient snacks and can be added to a variety of dishes. Sprinkle ground flax seeds or chia seeds into yogurt or oatmeal. Add chopped walnuts or almonds to salads, or enjoy a small handful as a satisfying between-meal snack. Beyond specific foods, staying adequately hydrated may also support joint health. The cartilage in our joints contains a significant amount of water, and proper hydration helps maintain its cushioning properties. While drinking water won't cure joint problems, maintaining good hydration is part of an overall approach to supporting joint function. Some research suggests that adequate vitamin D levels may also play a role in joint health. While the relationship is complex and still being studied, vitamin D appears to influence several aspects of immune function and potentially affect inflammatory processes. Vitamin D can be obtained through moderate sun exposure, certain foods like fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified products, and supplements when needed. Now let's consider what foods might be worth limiting if joint health is a concern. Some research suggests that certain dietary factors might potentially contribute to increased inflammation or joint discomfort in some individuals. Highly processed foods, particularly those rich in refined carbohydrates and certain types of fats, have been associated with higher levels of inflammatory markers in some studies. Foods with added sugars and refined grains might potentially contribute to inflammation through various mechanisms, including effects on weight management and metabolic health. Advanced glycation end products, AGEs, are compounds formed when proteins or fats combine with sugars in the bloodstream. They can also form in foods during high-temperature cooking, particularly when grilling, frying, or broiling animal-derived foods. Some research suggests that AGEs might potentially contribute to increased inflammation and oxidative stress. Cooking methods like steaming, boiling, stewing, and using acidic ingredients like lemon juice or vinegar may help reduce AGE formation. Red meat consumed in large quantities has been associated with higher levels of inflammatory markers in some research. This doesn't necessarily mean eliminating red meat entirely, but perhaps considering it an occasional rather than daily protein source, and choosing lean cuts when you do enjoy it. Some individuals report that certain foods seem to trigger or worsen their joint discomfort. Common examples include some nightshade vegetables, tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, and peppers, as well as foods from the allium family, onions and garlic. However, scientific evidence for these connections is limited, and responses appear to be highly individual. William, a 75-year-old with knee discomfort, noticed that his symptoms seemed to worsen after eating tomato-based dishes. "It's not a dramatic effect," he told me, "but I've experimented with avoiding tomatoes for periods of time, and I do seem to have fewer flare-ups when I limit them." His experience highlights the potential value of paying attention to your body's individual responses to different foods. If you suspect specific foods might be affecting your joint comfort, keeping a simple food and symptom journal for a few weeks might help you identify patterns. Any significant dietary changes should ideally be discussed with a healthcare provider, particularly if you're managing other health conditions or taking medications. It's important to understand that while nutrition may play a supportive role in joint health, it's just one piece of a larger puzzle. Regular, appropriate physical activity, maintaining a healthy weight, getting adequate sleep, and managing stress all appear to contribute to joint health and overall well-being as we age. Gentle movement helps nourish cartilage and maintain joint mobility. Activities like walking, swimming, tai chi, and gentle yoga may help maintain flexibility and strength without excessive impact on the joints. The old adage, "use it or lose it," appears to have some truth when it comes to joint function. Appropriate movement helps maintain mobility. Maintaining a healthy weight can significantly reduce stress on weight-bearing joints like the knees and hips. Some research suggests that each pound of excess weight adds approximately 4 pounds of pressure on the knees during walking. Even modest weight management may help reduce joint stress and potentially improve comfort. Additionally, the potential benefits of dietary approaches to joint health typically develop gradually over time. Margaret, the patient I mentioned earlier who incorporated more fatty fish into her diet, noticed changes after about 2 months of consistent habits. This timeline aligns with what research suggests. Nutritional approaches typically require consistency and patience. For those experiencing significant joint pain or mobility limitations, dietary changes should complement, not replace, appropriate medical care. Working with healthcare providers to develop a comprehensive approach to joint health is important, especially if symptoms are severe or worsening. Jean, a 79-year-old with long-standing hip and knee discomfort, found that combining appropriate medical care with nutritional approaches offered the best results. "My doctor helps me manage the pain when it's severe," she explained, "but I feel like the dietary changes I've made have helped reduce how often I need to rely on medication. It's given me more good days." When implementing dietary changes for joint health, a gradual approach often works best. Rather than completely overhauling your diet all at once, consider making incremental changes. Perhaps adding fatty fish to your menu once or twice a week, incorporating a serving of berries into your breakfast, or experimenting with turmeric in cooking. These small changes are often more sustainable than dramatic dietary shifts, and they allow you to pay attention to how your body responds to different foods. The goal isn't perfection, but rather a pattern of eating that includes more joint-supporting foods and fewer potentially inflammatory ones. Creating meals that incorporate multiple joint-friendly foods can make these dietary approaches both enjoyable and practical. For example, a dinner of baked salmon providing omega-3s, with a side of roasted Brussels sprouts, offering glucosinolates, and a salad dressed with extra virgin olive oil, containing oleocanthal, incorporates several potentially supportive elements in one delicious meal. Starting the day with a breakfast bowl containing yogurt supporting gut health, topped with berries providing anthocyanins, walnuts offering omega-3s, and a sprinkle of ground flax seeds containing additional omega-3s, creates a morning meal rich in potentially anti-inflammatory compounds. A warming lunch of vegetable soup made with a broth infused with turmeric and ginger, filled with a variety of colorful vegetables and perhaps some beans or lentils for protein, offers another example of how joint-supporting foods can be combined into satisfying meals. As with any aspect of health, individual responses to dietary changes may vary. What works well for one person might not have the same effect for another. Paying attention to your own body's responses and working with healthcare providers to develop a personalized approach is often the most effective strategy. It's also worth noting that consistent, moderate approaches typically yield better results than extreme or highly restrictive diets. Extreme elimination diets may lead to nutritional imbalances and can be difficult to maintain long-term. Unless you've identified specific food sensitivities with the help of healthcare providers, a balanced approach that emphasizes joint-supporting foods while moderating potentially inflammatory ones often works best. For some individuals, supplements might be considered as part of a comprehensive approach to joint health. Glucosamine, chondroitin, omega-3s, turmeric/curcumin, and vitamin D are among the supplements sometimes used to support joint comfort. However, the research on these supplements shows mixed results, and their effectiveness appears to vary significantly between individuals. Any supplements should be discussed with healthcare providers, especially if you're taking medications or managing other health conditions. So let's recap what we've explored about joint-friendly nutrition. Fatty fish like salmon and mackerel contain omega-3 fatty acids that some research suggests may help moderate inflammatory processes in the body. Colorful berries provide anthocyanins, which appear to have antioxidant properties that might help reduce certain inflammatory markers. Cruciferous vegetables contain compounds that some preliminary research suggests could potentially help protect cartilage. Fiber-rich foods and fermented products may support gut health, which some emerging research suggests might influence systemic inflammation. Turmeric contains curcumin, which some studies suggest might help reduce inflammatory markers and possibly provide relief from joint discomfort for some individuals. Ginger contains compounds that some research suggests may have anti-inflammatory properties and might help reduce discomfort for some people. Extra virgin olive oil contains oleocanthal, which some research suggests may have mild anti-inflammatory properties. Nuts and seeds provide a mix of nutrients that might help moderate inflammatory processes. Staying adequately hydrated supports the water content in cartilage, which helps maintain its cushioning properties. Limiting highly processed foods, added sugars, and refined grains might help reduce factors that potentially contribute to inflammation. Paying attention to your individual responses to foods may help you identify any personal triggers for joint discomfort. Remember that nutritional approaches to supporting joint health work best when combined with other joint-friendly habits like appropriate physical activity, maintaining a healthy weight, getting adequate sleep, and managing stress. If you're experiencing significant joint pain or mobility limitations, it's important to work with healthcare providers while exploring complementary approaches like nutrition. The foods we eat every day may influence our joint health through multiple mechanisms, particularly by affecting inflammatory processes in the body. While nutrition isn't a magic solution for joint problems, thoughtful dietary choices might help create an internal environment that better supports joint function and comfort as we age. If this information has been helpful to you, please consider sharing this video with others who might benefit. Many people accept joint discomfort as an inevitable part of aging, unaware that nutritional approaches might offer additional support. Subscribe to our channel for more evidence-based approaches to healthy aging, and tap the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Each week we explore different aspects of well-being for older adults, always focused on practical, approachable strategies backed by current understanding. And please, leave a comment below sharing your own experiences with joint health or any questions you might have. I read every comment and value your input. Your feedback helps guide the topics we address in future videos. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Dr. Rachel Thompson, wishing you comfortable movement and vibrant health in your golden years. Until next time, take good care of yourself.